Retired General Austin's nomination, on its face, seems to make all the sense in the world, doesn't it? Decorated soldier, knows his way around the Pentagon, and he would again be the first African American to man the post. So what's really not to like? Well, Austin's been retired for only 4 years, as you just heard. Thus, he would require a congressional waiver in order to be confirmed. And joining our discussion is military analyst Adam Roosevelt, decorated Army soldier, retired himself, served our country proudly, disabled veteran who is anything but unable, entrepreneur, former Republican nominee for the Virginia House of Delegates. And Mr. Roosevelt, we are honored to have you with us tonight. Welcome.
My pleasure. Thank you.
What are your thoughts, first off, about the incoming administration's choice of four-star Army General retired Lloyd Austin as Secretary of Defense?
General Austin's a fine choice. Yeah, we go look in his background and we see a tremendous amount of history. He's made a tremendous amount of accomplishments. Achieving the rank of four-star is few and many between the folks who've actually been able to reach that height in the U.S. military career. He's a graduate of West Point. I think a lot of us understand how important that is. A lot of our supreme and intelligent folks that come out of the military academy such as that are very, very positioned to lead at the stage in which he's operating. I think he's done a lot for his country. I think he's done a lot for the people that are looking for strategic decisions to be made to position our country to move forward. And he's a fine choice. And I think this is something that the world needs. I think the nation needs to look at this nominee as a viable candidate moving forward.
And how much does his confirmation chances, how much are they helped that he has actually worked the building? He's worked the Pentagon for years.
There's two train of thoughts. You've seen some comments from members of Congress talking about, the desired nominee should be someone who is a civilian versus a military member. I would push back and I would say that a person who understands the U.S. military is definitely capable of leading the U.S. military from a Secretary of Defense perspective. And I would say he is the right choice for this. If there had been another four-star general with the same credentials, there would be no question at all. I understand the hesitation due to him just recently retiring, but I think he's the perfect choice for this, and we shouldn't put politics before this nominee. He is a very qualified candidate, and he should be considered with full consideration.
And you, sir, of course, know your way around the Pentagon as well. What's the process that the general is going to be facing during the confirmation hearings?
So generally, he's already spoke to Vice President Biden, so he's already streamlined in conversations. What's probably happening now is vetting. So the standard vetting procedure is looking at financials, looking at liabilities, even family liabilities that may come up. Should he pass that vetting process, they would take him to members of Congress, some of the committee members, and shop him around. And that's the whip process to get the support he would need at the confirmation hearings and even to get the exception approved. So he would be on the Hill engaging with members from the Republican and the Democratic Party to inform them what the strategy would be, how he would position the U.S. military in terms of the great power competition. And then effectively there would be a date where he would go in front of Congress and then he would be drilled by a series of panels to talk about what his plan is, his background, and the future of the U.S. military. And then upon vote, he would be confirmed or not confirmed at that time.
Arduous process indeed. Before we let you go, I'd be negligent if I didn't ask you your thoughts about what's going on at Fort Hood. Murder, sexual assault, harassment. What needs to be done to root out the causes and to make our service personnel feel safe at home?
As a former non-commissioned officer, my job was to oversee soldiers. We understood everything from policy and open door policies from the Army regulations on down. And I think this systemic issue has tried to be addressed on several different campaigns. We've had campaigns called SHARP. We've not seen many progressive things in that regard, particularly within this Fort Hood situation. The firing is a first step, but I think we need to look at funding for master resiliency. We need to look at ensuring that the soldiers are trained. The big problem we run into is that they've been exposed to violent tendencies in war, and they come home and try to reintegrate, and we need to address that at a much larger scale, and it's going to require research and funding to understand this very interesting psychological dynamic that soldiers face when they return home.
Yes, a lot of work to be done. Adam Roosevelt, thank you so much for your time, more so for your service and sacrifice for our country. You're welcome here anytime, sir.
Thank you very much.